Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Laila de la Garza. Bienvenidos a nuestra
Friends. Hi,
transmisión
friends. How are you doing?
online.
My
Gracias
name
por
is
estar
Laila
aquí
de la Garza.
conectado.
Welcome to
Hoy es un
Transmission
domingo
Online.
especial, un domingo
There's a
diferente. Quiero
special
empezar
and different
5 minutitos
Sunday.
antes de que
I want to
empecemos
start
realmente nuestra
five
actividad.
minutes
Quiero tomarme
before
5
our
minutos
meeting,
para
our
contarte
gathering,
qué es lo que
and
pasa
I want to
detrás de la
show you what
pantalla. Mira,
happens
tenemos ya
behind the
desde
screen.
marzo
Look,
15
we've
conectándonos
been
domingo a
connecting
domingo.
Sunday
Desde
to
marzo
Sunday since
15
March
ya no nos hemos podido
15th,
reunir
and
presencialmente
we
por
have
obvias
not been
razones,
able to
pero entonces
be
yo
here
quiero mostrarte un
physically
poquito cómo es que
obvious
hemos estado
reasons,
haciendo
but I want to show
iglesia
you
durante estos domingos,
different things
mostrándote qué es lo que pasa
how we
detrás
do
de la
this
pantalla. Quiero
uh,
decirte gracias por
to show you
conectarte
what
en donde
happens
quiera que
behind the
estés, si
screen.
estás en tu
Thank you for
sala, en
connecting
tu cocina,
from
pero
wherever you
prepárate
are,
quizás, se
your
vale,
living room,
prepárate tu
your
cafecito y
kitchen, on
acompáñame
the
a ver
bed.
qué es lo que
So get your
pasa
coffee
detrás de
and come
cámaras
here with
cada
me
domingo aquí en Vida In. Yo
and
estoy
to
aquí en el
see
auditorio
what
de
we're behind the
Saltillo
camera.
y te voy
I'm
a ir
right here in the
simplemente
Saltillo
presentando a las
auditorium,
personas que
and I'm
están
going
aquí
to
con nosotros.
introduce you to
Y
the
voy a
people who
comenzar
are with us.
con una persona
And
muy
I'm going to
especial
start with a
que
very
me estaba
special
sordeando, pero ya
person.
volteó, Roberto
He's kind
Bautista.
of,
Acá está
getting
Roberto
there
que hoy nos va a traer
mysteriously.
el
This
mensaje.
is
Les cuento que
Roberto
Roberto viene desde
Bautista.
la ciudad
He's
de
delivering the
Monterrey
message
acá a
today.
Saltillo
He's
y
coming from
nos
Monterrey
tocó
to
un huracán.
Saltillo,
Veníamos
and
manejando y obviamente nos
I
tocó
was
el huracán, nos tocaron
also
las
driving.
lluvias,
There's a
los
hurricane
vientos.
here. There's
¿Qué tal? ¿Todo
rain.
bien?
There's wind.
Todo bien. Acá
What
seguros, aquí
happens?
estamos.
Yes,
Y acá
we're
está su
here.
hija
And
Antonella.
this is
Y
Antonella,
quiero que me
his
llenen por
daughter.
favor por ahí la
And
pantalla
please
de
interact
corazoncitos,
with
de
us.
aplausos, porque
Put
Antonella
hearts
acaba de
and
cumplir
applauses
15
there.
años
And
esta
Antonella
semana.
just
Hace
turned
2 días cumplió sus
15,
15 años.
actually 2 days
Y la verdad es
ago.
que yo me acuerdo de ella,
And
yo la conocí aquí en
I
este
met
auditorio
her
hace como
actually
unos
in
9, 10
this
años
auditorium
atrás.
like
Y
19
es
years ago.
increíble
And
tan
it's
rápido pasa el tiempo.
amazing
Felicidades,
how time
Santo.
flies
Ahí están
by.
tus corazoncitos.
So,
Y les presento
congratulations,
ahora
Santo.
a Walter,
And
mi
this is
sobrino
Walter, my nephew,
político.
my
Él dice que
political
es el
nephew.
favorito, pero
He
habrá que
says
ver.
he's the
Tiene que hacer
favorite one,
algunos méritos para
but
ser
he
favorito,
has
¿verdad?
to,
Acá está él
accredit
con su
some merits
diademita con la que se
here.
comunica
And
a
here
producción.
he's
Ellos
with
están
his
mandando
equipment
las instrucciones de todo lo que
that
pasa, ¿sabes?
to communicate
Detrás.
with
Quizá tú no estás
production
escuchando todo lo que
instructions.
está sucediendo,
Maybe
pero
you
están
don't
mandando
hear
como
everything that is
detalles de que
happening,
cámara uno,
but
cámara 2,
they're
muévete
saying
acá,
like
así,
camera
¿no?
one,
Y
camera
es muy
two, move here,
interesante
move that.
y también un
And this is
poquito
very
estresante, yo
interesting
creo, estar
and
ahí
stressing
escuchando todo
also,
y mandando
you know,
instrucciones.
hearing
Tenemos a
and
Irma.
giving instructions.
Irma
And over here we
es
have
la que a
Irma.
través de esta computadora
And through this
manda todo lo que
computer,
tú ves
she
en los
sends
mensajes. Cuando el
everything that
comunicador
you
está
see
hablando, ella
when the
está
speaker
lanzando el
is
versículo, la
saying the
frase o cualquier
message, and
imagen que el
he
comunicador
wants to put
necesite.
the
A mí me tocó
verse
estar en
or
sus
an
zapatos un
image
par de veces y yo te tengo
that the
que decir
speaker
que a mí me
needs.
sudaban las
And you
manos
know
de
what?
los
When I
nervios
was doing
de que lo iba
that
a hacer
for a
mal, de
couple
que lo
of
iba a
times,
lanzar antes o
I was
después.
so
Entonces,
nervous that
Irmita, súper
I
gran trabajo,
didn't
gracias por todo lo
do
que
it
haces.
right.
Y ahora
So
nos
Irma,
vamos a
great
ir para
job. Thank
arriba,
you so
hay
much
unas
for what you
escaleras
do.
para allá.
So there's
Tenemos
some
un segundo
stairs
piso
there.
donde hay
We
más
have a
personas de nuestro
second
equipo. Acá
floor
los van
where
a ver.
there's more people
Salúdalos,
from our
Gaby.
team. Hey, hi,
¿Cómo están?
Gabby.
Gaby,
How are
Heidi,
you
Wilmer.
doing?
Por
Heidi,
allá están.
Wilmer.
Gaby está en el
And
switcher,
so
aparte de lo que hace
Gabby
entre
is in the
semana,
switcher.
que es
She
diseñar, hacer
does she
videos
does
y
things
demás.
during the
Ahora
week,
Gaby nos
like
está
she
ayudando en el
designs,
switcher
she
y lo
does
que hace el
videos,
switcher
and
es
now
ver esa pantalla y a
now
través de
she's
ahí
the
picarle
switcher,
así
and
como está ella
she sees,
muy
she's clicking like
emocionada
that, and she's very excited
para
to
que
do
tú
that.
puedas ver
and
todo lo que
and so
sale en
you can
pantalla. Por
see
acá ya te
everything
saludo
that
y ella está
you're on the
diciendo que va a salir.
screen.
Por allá
So
está
I'm
Heidi
saying hi.
también.
There's also
Heidi es nuestra
Heidi.
productora
Heidi
de
is our
este domingo, mandándole
producer
las
in this
instrucciones
Sunday.
a
She's
todo el
giving
mundo
instructions
prácticamente.
to
Y por
everybody.
allá está Wilmer
And
en
then
media,
there's Wilmer
todo lo que
in
sucede.
media.
Allá
Everything that
abajo de
is
tu pantalla baja
happening,
el contador,
on
los nombres de las
the
personas que
like the
estamos hablando,
timer, the names
los
of the people
links,
who are
el
speaking, the
video que tú
links,
vas
the
a ver,
video
cualquier
that you
cosita.
want to watch,
Wilmer es el
anything.
indicado y el que
Wilmer
está
is
haciendo
the
todo
guy
posible.
for
Gracias,
that is
amigo.
making that
Y por
possible.
acá
Thank you, my
tenemos otra
friend.
cabina en donde están
And there's another booth
las
here.
personas de online. Ellos
These are the
están
people for
lanzando esta
online.
transmisión, están haciendo
They are
posible que esta
launching
transmisión llegue hasta
this
YouTube
in YouTube,
Live y Facebook Live.
Live
Y
and
también
Facebook
estamos
Live,
con
and
Gib,
also we
que
are with
está
Gib.
en audio.
He's
Entonces,
in
amigos,
audio.
muchísimas gracias
Thank you
por
so
ser parte del
much,
equipo y por
friends,
hacer
for
esto
being part of
posible.
this team, for
Y
making this
a ti que
possible.
estás conectado,
And
te quiero
for
decir gracias.
you that you're
Gracias por
connected,
unirte
I want to
a
thank
esta
you.
transmisión.
Thank
Gracias por
you
ser parte.
for being a part
Termino
of this
estos últimos
transmission.
segundos para
And these
decirte,
last
agarra
seconds,
tu cafecito,
look,
ponte
I want to
cómodo,
tell you,
siéntate
grab your coffee, get yourself comfortable on your couch or whatever, but take these few seconds to share this transmission. Think about somebody that you want to maybe you just want to post this on your Facebook, just put share, or maybe you want to do a watch party, or just share the YouTube link, but make more people experiment this through Vidain. So we're about to start, and just welcome to Vidain Online. Hey, welcome to Vida in Online. I'm Laila de la Garza, and I'm very happy to be here with you from Vida in Saltillo. And my friend Fanny is here, and I'm very happy, Laila, to say hi and know that behind each connection in our transmission, there's people, there's our people. We are very happy, and we want to say hi. We want to say your name, and I have people here from our Saltillo campus. So hi to Erica, Lupita, Aldrete, Josué, Clara Delia, hi, and Angelina, Lily, we send you this hug, Arturo, Pixie, Juan Reyes. So thank you for connecting, and we'll send a hug. And I have Monterrey people here. And I'm going to say some Clara Marquez, Yola de la Garza, Israel Iscano, Sofía. How are you doing? Ajani, she won't miss this. Miroslava. Lalo Rios from Chicago. Salvador El Conde, thank you for being connected. Also in our Mexico City campus. So we want to send greetings to Stephanie, Odin, Jorge, Saúl, Jonathan, and Prisolis, and Jair de la Garza, of course. And hi, it's nice to be connected with you in Mexico City. But we are also connected with our friends in Santiago, Chile, and Vertical in Chile. I just imagine you, I know that's winter there, so I imagine you like with your mate, very comfortable and watching transmission, and it would be Virginia Rios, Catherine Guzman, also Mau Montesinos. He says, good day, ready from Santiago, Chile. He's in. Karen Gonzalez, Gabriel Gallegos, thank you for being connected. And look, specifically and especially today, and if this is the first time that you are connected, if somebody just share this link, and or maybe you decided, you just, thank you if you decided to stay. I just want to tell you that we're a group of people that we just relate and connect to God, and we just want to inspire you, to connect you to your Heavenly Father, to Jesus. And we have found that this is our best life. This is a group of people that makes this possible. And there's a lot of people that make this possible. And during the week, we're doing things so that you can keep connecting. Maybe also media, social media. Actually, Fanny is in that team. Actually, you and I, each week we are creating content, pictures, videos, so that you can see everything that happens behind this Sunday, that you can see that and you can connect it. There's nothing that has been programmed. We're just people. We're just our home team that we want to be close to you. That is what we do during the week. Actually, programming team, we get together, we decide what we're going to do in each transmission. It's everything is planned that you enjoy that you can connect this. So we have planned that this gathering will be around 40 minutes. We will be connected in our hearts, and just maybe that you hear something that fills you with hope, that gives you energy to start your week the best way. And you know what? We are closing this series that we have been in for 4 series, and we called it I'm In. Laila, I'm In. And it was incredible. And today's message is going to be delivered from Roberto. And they came here actually, yes, it's raining a lot. And if you hear the auditorium, we didn't flood, so everything is going to be okay. So thank you, girls, for how amazing you are. Laila, you also came from you came navigating, from Monterrey, but we're here. Thank you, girls, friends. Thank you so much. In which camera am I? So hi, everybody. Once again, we are completely live. It's 11:34 in Saltillo with rain, non-stopping rain. Monterrey is the same. I don't know in Mexico City, and I don't know about Santiago, and in other places I don't know. But today we're closing this series. I'm In. And it has to do with everything that is identity, with our identity, what we are, what we do, because our identity is connected with this. So, especially, we have talked about something very important, and is to be invested in that identity of those who we are, followers of Jesus. But actually, at the beginning of this series, I was talking, but especially to those people who are not followers of Jesus. Maybe you're watching right now, but I want to tell you, I said it at the beginning. Look, if you're not a follower of Jesus, obviously, yes, we are talking here about identity of people who have decided to be a follower of Jesus. But if you're not, it's so important for you to see this, because in some way, this will give you a sense of what does it mean to be a follower of Jesus. What is this identity that we can embrace, and that in your journey, you know that there's no surprise for you, but you can see throughout the series what it means to be a follower of Jesus, and that we are inviting you to embrace, and that Jesus is inviting you to embrace. So maybe it makes sense for you to take steps forward, maybe, and you will see and you will say, I'm in, just like us. So I want to take a look at what we've been looking at. Okay, and look, in this series we have been talking about I'm invited, and that's the first thing we said. I'm invited, and that has to do with the fact that we can understand in God's family we have a place, that God invited us, that on that table where the family is seated, there's a place with my name, with your name, and we don't have to sneak in, like, asking for permission. Oh, maybe, not feeling uninvited, where there's God's family there. But we have been invited. We have an invitation that has been given to us, and we can be confident to be there in that table, because we have been invited to be a part of God's family. When we approach to God, we're not looking for his acceptance, for his approval. He has already approved of us. That's spectacular. Then Alejandro spoke to us about that I'm invaluable. And what he was saying is that once that I have understood that I'm invited to God's family, that that makes a better understanding of my identity. So now I go in God's family because of that invitation, and now that I'm part of his church. And while I'm part of a church, I'm connected to a purpose. I'm connected. I have a designated purpose. And look at me, when we are part of God's family, our participation is connected to a purpose, and that makes us invaluable. So I'm invaluable, Alejandro said. I have a place, I have a purpose, I have something to do in God's family, and it is something invaluable. And then Jair last week told us like a process of getting ahead in this comprehension of identity. I'm invited, so I'm invaluable because now I'm a part of God's family. And Jair now, we were giving this purpose of being influential. So I'm influential. So part of our identity is that responsibility in some way to impact the life of different people of our community, or some people. And so now we're talking about the fourth quality. And what I like about this series is that it has been helping in understanding that the identity that we have when we're followers of Jesus is something that we understand, and it is being completed in terms of execution as well. And the fourth quality is I am invested. I'm invested with God through the church. Look, this is very interesting. Once I know I'm invited, that I took that invitation, now I'm part of God's family, and now I understand I'm influential, and the way I answer to this, and making my identity is understanding this. I'm invested with God through his church. This is very important, and we're going to talk about this. Actually, wherever you are, and the people who are here, and we can see at the same time, we're going to say, I'm invested on three. Okay, the ones on the back, Irma there, my daughter there. So everybody, and at home, 1, 2, 3. I'm invested. Yes, like that. I am invested. Look, maybe when you say that, maybe you say like look, Roberto, the truth is that I'm not that invested in church. Look, yes, it's good that you can be honest with yourself, and that maybe you're not feeling that committed to that invested. But relating to investment, so the question is not if you're invested, but the question is with what or whom you are invested with, because we are all invested with something or someone in some way. Look, let me give you some examples. Look, look, maybe you have your favorite football team and you buy your season ticket. And at that time, you are investing in that. So when the game starts, maybe the weather that day is, very hot, but you're there. Or maybe the weather is like very cold, but you're going to be there because you're invested with it. And maybe you got an invitation for a conference, for some talk, or for development, professional development, or personal growth. Look, this is very for free, whatever. Okay, so you say, yeah, whatever, yeah, maybe you will go, maybe you won't go. Oh, yeah, it was yesterday. Oh, I didn't do it. Maybe it happened to you during this time. Oh, you forgot, whatever. But if you buy the ticket for that conference, for that workshop, for development, for professional, whatever, if you bought, you will put it on your schedule and you will not make any other commitment. If you have an invitation to do something, you will say that you cannot, and maybe you will be connected there. During this pandemic, you will be connected and you will be taking notes, and you will try to find ways to apply that in your life, in your profession. And why are you going to be so invested? Why? Because you're invested, right? Because you paid for that ticket, right? And this is another example. I can give you a lot of examples. So maybe you have a car that's a junker or something, and maybe somebody comes in your car, and maybe you can say they will ask permission to eat in your car, and you will say, yeah, okay, sure. But if you have your new car, and then you have this new car, you just bought it, and it smells like a new car, this wonderful smell, and somebody comes in your car and somebody asks if they can eat in your car, and you can say like, you cannot even breathe in my car. Actually, if you have children, maybe you whatever. Why? Because you're invested. Look, what I want to tell you with this is, look, the question is not if you are invested. You and I are invested. The thing is that most of us are invested with things that are not relevant. We are invested in things that are not important. And Jesus talks to us about that. Jesus talks to us in different ways, and a lot of times about how we shall not be invested in non-relevant things. That's a tendency, yours and mine. And in one time, Jesus was, preaching. Well, that's the most famous preaching, the Sermon on the Mount. And he speaks a lot about being invested with things that are very important, but specifically one. Actually, this is very, very important. He says, don't store up treasures here on earth where moths eat them and rust destroys them, and where thieves break and steal. And so what Jesus is telling us here, look, Don't store, don't accumulate, don't hoard. Actually, do not invest in things that are not lasting, that are non relevant. This is what he's saying right here. Actually, maybe we should accumulate treasures in heaven, you know, but we should invest in things that are connected with an eternity or that last in time. This, this he gives us the way and how we can do this. Actually, and a principle that we can find here, and the principle is this: our God created us to pour, not to store. Our God created us to pour, not to store. Look, this principle that God created us to give and not to accumulate is something that is present every time in Jesus' teachings, and it's so powerful. But because of what it represents for you and me, that we were designated, we were designed to give, not to store, so that if we can experiment our identity thoroughly, we have to live with our hands open, giving. If you are a follower of Jesus, you understand what I'm saying. But if you're not a follower of Jesus, let me tell you something that is so important. And I'm so happy that you're connected with us here, because probably you've heard about, money and church. Huh? And maybe having heard about money and church was what took you away from the church, or disconnect that, because maybe you thought there was manipulation there, or dark motivations there. And the truth is that I cannot speak for other churches about what they talk about money, but I can speak for our church. And so I'm happy for you to have being connected with us. So because through what we are going to talk about today, you are going to get firsthand information on why it is so important to talk about money and church. With what we're saying here, our God created us to give, not to store. We can understand that your design and my design has to do with giving. And I'm going to demonstrate this through a quick exercise. How do you feel when you give other people? How do you feel when you're generous? How you've been feeling when you have seen somebody's need or someone's need, and you have given economically to help that project, that cause? Isn't it right that we feel right? That is a spectacular sensation. And do you know why? Not, it doesn't matter if before we were hesitant to do that, we were afraid of doing that. But once we give from our finances and we live being generous with our hands open, we live an unexplainable satisfaction. Why? Friends, because that is our design. You and I were designed to give. That is the reason why when we give, we feel so good and we feel satisfaction. And look, I want to say, look, there's a few things in this life that create so much transformation in one's life, like giving to others. So maybe if I would ask you right now, remember a moment where a moment of great satisfaction, that deep satisfaction. For sure, you're not going to tell them, I remember when I bought that purse. Oh, I remember that moment where I got my first iPhone. Yes. Oh, I paid with my credit card, but I didn't have money and I fell into debt. And each time I got the bill, I felt so deep. I felt satisfied. Of course not. But I'm sure you can say that moment when you heard that somebody was in need and you helped and you did and you gave whatever you could, and it was something so great and special for you, and you can remember that, and that was a great satisfaction for you. But maybe the first time you were in the church. Look, last year somebody was approached me, and somebody was here and he was walking towards me, and I thought that he was going to bring me a good news, because it looked in his face, and I would never imagine what he was going to tell me, but I knew that it was something good because he has this face. And he said, "Look, Roberto, I started tithing," and his face was so filled with satisfaction, so much satisfaction. And there was another person here near, and you know what? This is, this is the first church that I attend regularly, and when I heard here, I understood about giving percentually, and then I started giving 2%. Actually, I want to confess. Then I started 5%, 7%, and then you know what? This month I started giving 10%, and I was filled with so much joy. But no, I wasn't. I wasn't feeling with joy because I was the pastor or because I wanted to manipulate this. But no, because I understand that when somebody gives, it's when we can experiment our identity thoroughly, because our design was made for us to give. If we don't do that, we are not going to experiment the whole design of our identity. Look, another time that Jesus taught about this, look, for me, is something that is so amazing. Actually, I want to tell you, maybe 11 years ago, we were not in these facilities here in Saltillo. We were planning on coming to these facilities. So Sandra, my wife, and I were about to buy a car, like maybe this category, but we decided to buy it like in this lower category. But we decided to give more to this project that had to do to coming to these facilities in the church. And if you ask me, Roberto, do you remember when you went to the car dealer and got your new car? No, I don't. But I do remember the time where I signed the check, where my wife and I were praying and giving God thanks to give this much money for the project. Look, when we started the campus in Monterrey and we sold our house here in Saltillo to go over there, and we were so hesitant. Monterrey is a higher living standard. It costs more. But at the moment we sold our house, we took part of that money and we gave it to start our campus there in Monterrey. And I'm telling you, these are moments that I describe them to you with so much satisfaction. And I know that what is happening today, and I just would have liked to have given more. And a few days ago, I was together with my family. We were eating there, and I told them that there's a family that we found out that they have a financial need, and we are looking to support them. And so I asked them, Antonella and Andres and Sandra, and they agreed to help, but they also gave. So they gave from their savings, my children. And when we're all together at the table and we were talking about them, that just not only that, mom and dad, but my children giving from their savings. And you know what? These are spectacular things and I'm sure you've lived this, and we feel so much satisfaction. Why? Because we were designed for that. And that is why we get so excited. Look, a lot of the teachings of Jesus that he talks about this in a actually it is believed that there more than 10,000 people were listening to them, and he was there, teaching and teaching, and the disciples approached them, and they were telling Jesus, what, you have been teaching for a lot of the time, a long time, and it's getting dark. And so the disciples were talking about this. This is getting too long. They tell Jesus that what, they won't have anything to eat, whatever. Look, Jesus, your teachings are so cool, they're good, but if it gets dark, all the people won't have anything to eat. So Jesus tells them this. But Jesus said, you feed them. And they didn't expect this answer. They didn't have it coming. But he said, but we have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And you know the story. We only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And you know the story. Jesus took those and he held them up. He gave thanks to God and he blessed them. And that day, the crowds could eat from that. Because crowds, thousands and thousands of people could eat. Why? Because there was somebody that gave. And I see this so many times. When one person opens their hands to give, God will multiply that. Those hands that were open and all the people surrounding. This is spectacular. This is our story. This is the story of Vida Inn, of our church. This church started because somebody opened their hands and somebody said, I'm invested, I'm in. And I'm talking about Juan Berikin, our founding pastor. When I was talking about this message, he was super excited and he said, I will have the opportunity to tell them something. He's in Michigan, but he recorded a video because he wanted to talk about this, about giving. This is a passion for me. So please watch this video with me.
Cuando del dar se trata, no puedo evitar tener una sonrisa en mi cara porque me hace tan feliz. Hace más de 35 años atrás, escuché a un hombre desafiar un público a vivir un estilo de vida del dar. Ese día yo dije, yo le entro a ese estilo de vida. Yo no quería vivir una vida normal en que uno está buscando amontonar para sí mismo, uno está buscando resolver lo suyo. Yo decidí que yo quería vivir para otros y que todo llegara a mis manos. Yo tenía manos abiertas para compartirlo con otros. Comencé ese día. Y hasta el momento, ahora, pues me casé, Carla y yo tenemos 35 años de casado y esos últimos 35 años hemos vivido de esa forma. Recibiendo y dando, recibiendo y compartiendo. Entonces, todo lo que viene a nuestras manos es para compartir, es para iniciar. Me hace pensar en Vida Inn en el año 2004, cuando ya un grupito de personas, nosotros visionábamos con una iglesia diferente, una iglesia en donde cualquier persona podría llegar y sentirse cómodo, una iglesia en donde habría un nivel de excelencia que sí se requiere de recursos para llevarlo a cabo. Y luego pensando, ¿y cómo le vamos a hacer? Yo me acuerdo que Carla y yo decidimos, vamos a hipotecar nuestra casa y vamos a dar ese primer enganche, vamos a dar ese capital para poder arrancar a Vida Inn. Y cuando uno da, el impacto siempre es multiplicado, siempre impacta a otros. Y ahora que pienso que estoy hablando con ustedes y hay miles de personas, múltiples miles de personas escuchándome hablar de los inicios de Vida Inn, pienso en algo que dimos, que fue multiplicado, muchas otras personas dieron y eso se multiplicó y está impactando las vidas de muchas personas que me están escuchando en este momento. Yo te animo a entrarle a un estilo de vida, de dar, de desprenderte de lo que tienes, aunque sea poco. Créeme que tu poco en las manos del Señor van a hacer cosas grandes. Éntrale.
Amigos, hay algo.
Look, friends, there's something incredible regarding living a life to give, because we live according to our design, to our identity. I could speak so many things to you. That is the reason why Jesus speaks a lot about giving and that about living with open hands. Look, the topic that is, the most talk about Jesus has to do with finances, about generosity, about giving. One of the things Jesus says, the way we manage our finances reveals with whom we are invested. There's something incredible about giving. Look, that first grade section that we call the Testament of the Bible, and it has to do with the nation of Israel. There's a story, a moment in which one prophet was talking to the nation of Israel. They normally did this on behalf of God, and this passage is, he was Malachi was talking to the nation of Israel, and he was correcting them because they were not doing some things correctly, and it had exactly to do with the way they managed their resource. And he talked to them on behalf of God, and this is what he said. Okay. And so bring all the tithes into the storehouse so there will be enough food in my temple. So look, and we can see about this temple and the house. Remember, we can see this like the church. And though Malachi was telling this to the nation of Israel like 2,400 years ago, but we can take a very clear principle from this. Look, we give God through the church. Why? Because we're convinced about this. Parting from what God tells us, the greatest need of a human being. I understand that you can help people with needs and everything. Yes, of course. And we have to do that as followers of Jesus. We have to follow the people that have physical needs. It's what we do like church, is what we should do. Help people that have physical needs in different ways. But look, the greatest need that man has is the need for God, for spiritual need. And that is why we speak to give God through the church, so that we can help so many people that need to get connected with God, and that just food won't solve that, and then it will solve their whole life, including their eternity. Look, something that I love about this text is that God understands that the nation of Israel is, it is difficult for them to receive that, what he's saying. They didn't do this for years, okay? So in the midst of this, God said something unique to this. Look, and you won't find any other moment in the whole Bible where God tells them, put me to the test. And this is the way he told them that if you do, says the Lord of heaven's armies, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great you won't have enough room to take it in. Try it. Put me to the test. Look, friends, that is amazing. Why do we speak about this? Why do we speak about being invested? Why do we speak about being invested with God through the church? Why? Because what happens when a group of people get together and and they say that we are invested, when a group of people get together and declare this statement, and they live this through their finances, it's spectacular. And I don't just want to be here with words. Please watch this video with me.
Soy Fernando Moric.
I'm Fernando
soy de São
Moric.
Paulo.
I'm from São Paulo,
Brasil.
Brazil.
Vivo acá en Monterrey hace 3 años.
Soy Adjani Olivarevalo, soy de Morelia, pero vivo en Monterrey hace 5 años.
Mi nombre es Antonio García y soy parte del equipo de Back to Back México, una organización cristiana que se dedica a servir a niños que vienen de pasado difícil.
Les comenté que atiendo a más de 1,000 personas aquí en Centro Vida.
Mi nombre es Moisés Morales y soy de la Ciudad de México. Con Vida In tengo justamente el tiempo en el que llevamos de pandemia.
Para mí domingo no era con Dios, domingo era para me quedar en casa.
No éramos nada espirituales ni nada en
In
casa.
my house, we
Antes
were not
tenía
spiritual
esas
or
creencias
anything.
en
So
múltiples
before I
dioses
had beliefs
y en
in
eso
different
basaba
gods,
mi día a día.
and I based
En ley de la
that
atracción,
my
física
day-to-day
cuántica.
Tengo un
and
problema
physical
con la iglesia, o
quantics
sea,
and
realmente
attraction, law of
estoy
attraction.
afectado,
And
estoy
I'm
decepcionado.
affected, I'm disappointed in the
Tantos
church.
tropiezos en el pasado
So
me han
many
llevado a cauterizar
good
de
things in
querer
the
yo
past,
relacionarme con una
and
iglesia, con un lugar
I
así. Lo
didn't
que
want
trato
to
de decir es
relate
que
a
por
church.
ser divorciado
So
entrabas
I'm divorced, and
como en un
you know,
rubro, te
and you were
catalogaban en algo y
categorized
pues
like you
este
were
no,
not
este va
good.
para acá, ¿no?
Yes, you're
Tuvemos
divorced, you're
pelea
like
muy
that.
fuerte
We
donde
had a
Raquel
very
dice,
strong
mírate,
fight
estoy regresando para Brasil.
where
Y
Rachel
se
said,
fue. Me quedé
left.
solo.
I was
Imagínate
left
usted
alone.
solo en Natal,
I
Navidad, perdón,
was
en Navidad,
alone
solo aquí en
in
México.
Christmas
Ella con los niños en
in,
Brasil,
in,
empieza
in
abuso de
Mexico.
álcool,
So I
empieza
started abusing
chorro de
alcohol
cosas que no es de
and a
Dios.
lot of things that were
Dios,
not God.
yo
So
nunca he
God,
platicado contigo. Me sé
I have never taught to you.
rezos que me enseñaron de
Maybe I
chiquita,
knew
pero
prayers
no
that
me
I was
conectaba,
taught as
no.
a
En
child,
ese interim,
but they didn't
já
mean
empecé
anything.
a
So at
frequentar la
that
iglesia.
time, I
Y
started
já empecé
attending to
a
church,
conhecer
and
Deus
I
em
started
meu
to
coração.
know God
Isso
in
foi
my
uma coisa
heart,
fantástica
and
em minha
it was
vida. Fantástica em minha
fantastic
vida.
in my
E
life.
daí?
Recuerdo
Vidaín.
que
So I
googleé
remember
podcast sobre
that
Dios en Monterrey.
podcast about God
Y
in
el primer
Monterrey.
link
So the first
me
link,
manda Vidaín
it
y
was going to
inicia con,
Vidaín,
si es
and
la
he
primera
starts,
vez que
if
tú te
this is the
conectas,
time,
y yo,
first time
¿quién
that
dijo?
you are connected,
Una
and I was like,
campaña de
who told them
colaboración
that?
que
A collaboration
Vidaín
campaign
tiene
that
cada año y que
Vidaín
nos
has
incluye a nosotros
each
para
year, and we
favorecernos
were
con
included
generosidad. Simplemente
because we were
convocando a
just
las personas
included with
para
our
poder apoyar
generosity
diferentes causas.
only
Nosotros,
to
una de
support
ellas,
different causes.
Pensaba
We
que yo
were one of
estaba
them.
sola
I
y no, veo
thought
que hay
that
gente
I was alone,
interesada en
but
ayudar
no,
a las demás
I know that
personas.
there's people that
Recuerdo
are
el primer
interested
día
in
que estábamos
helping other
sentados
people.
para
So
comer.
I remember the
Entonces
first
digo,
time
bueno,
that we were seated to
quisiera dar
have
gracias.
to eat, and so
Entonces,
I
Melissa
wanted
de
to
9
give
años,
thanks,
recuerdo
and so
sus ojos.
Melissa said, like,
¿Cómo?
she's 9, like, what?
Mamá, ¿cuántos cambios más van a
Mom,
haber en esta casa?
how many more changes
Y
are
me
going
he
to be
sentido
in our house?
también
So I felt
confiado de
sure.
que he encontrado
I'm sure
lo
that
que
I
había
have
buscado por mucho tiempo.
Es
found
uma
what I
conexão tão
was looking
fuerte
for.
que não
It is a
é muito
strong
mais que uma
issue.
igreja.
It's much more than
É uma
church.
família.
It's a
Vidaín
family.
é
Vidaín,
cambio de vida,
it's
cambio
change of
de
life,
comportamento,
a change of
cambio
behavior.
de correção de
It-
defeitos de caráter
It's
que tinha no
a
passado.
correction
Quien más
of
me ha
character
demostrado
defects.
quiénes son ustedes es la
we-
comunidad.
The
Debería de haber un
food
Vidaín en todos lados.
that
Cuando
has
yo leí
demonstrated
que es
me
una
that there's
iglesia
more
para
people.
todos,
When I read that there's a church for
Sure.
everyone,
¿No?
are you
¿Todos?
sure? Are you sure?
sí,
Yes,
es para todos.
it
De
is for
verdad que
everyone.
puedo verlo,
I can see
puedo
that.
ver que
I
efectivamente
can see
Vidaín
that
es una iglesia para todos.
It is a church for
Y
everybody.
todos, ahí estoy yo.
And in those
pero en
all,
especial
it's
hubo
I'm
una
me.
frase
But
que me
especially
dejó
there was a
marcado, alguien que
phrase
estaba compartiendo
that
dijo,
somebody was
porque nosotros queremos
sharing
que cuando la gente
because
pregunte
we
¿y por qué
believe
lo haces?
we want
En
to
la parte
see
de dar y
in
ayudar a
the
otros,
part of
que
giving,
nuestra
why
respuesta
are you
pudiera
doing
ser,
that? Why are
esto
you
es lo que
giving?
hacemos los que seguimos a Jesús.
And the answer is,
Que
this
ellos
is
no
what
se
we
quedaran en
do,
una idea, sino que ellos
what we,
pudieran estar viendo
those
y
who follow
tocándola.
Jesus, that
Pero
it's
justo
a
un par de
tangible
semanas
things.
después,
But just
estábamos
a
ya
few
sudando
couple of
juntos,
weeks
hombro con hombro,
after
estando
we
haciendo
were,
proyectos,
you
haciendo
know,
cosas, mejorando
shoulder to
las
shoulder, we
instalaciones
were
donde los
doing
niños a los que
the
servimos
project,
viven.
we were
Y para mí fue muy fácil
improving
poderles
the
decir a esos
facilities
niños,
where we
cuando ellos
serve,
preguntan, ¿y por qué ellos vienen
where
aquí?
we
O sea, ¿por qué
serve
dan?
the children.
¿Qué
And where
hacen
the
aquí? ¿Por qué
children
tienen
ask,
interés de venir a
why
hacer
are
esto en
they,
medio del
where are
calor,
they
del sol,
coming
tantas
here to
horas,
help
etcétera?
us, you know, in the
Fue muy
midst
fácil
of
entonces
the
conectar esa
weather
frase y
or
decirles,
whatever.
es que esto es lo que hacemos los que
And,
seguimos a Jesús.
and it was very
Especialmente
easy
niños que no han visto buenos ejemplos de personas.
to
Todo el
say,
esfuerzo,
to tell them that this is
todo
what
el
followers
dinero,
of Jesus do. All the effort,
todos los sueños que se
all
han
the
tenido que
dreams
sacrificar
that had
por
to be
participar
sacrificed
en este proyecto
to be
Vidaín,
to participate in this
créanme que han
project of
valido la pena,
Vidaín, they have
porque
all
estoy
been worth it,
frente a ustedes
because I'm before
diciéndoles
you,
que si no hubiera sido por
telling
Vidaín,
you that if it
yo no
hadn't been
estaría
for Vidaín, I
pensando
wouldn't
en
be
volver a tener
thinking
una relación con
of
Dios.
having a relationship with God. Thank you.
De eso se trata.
That's what it's about.
Que podamos escuchar
That we
las
can
historias
hear those
de
stories
estas personas.
of these people.
Es posible.
It is
porque un grupo
possible
de personas,
because a group of
tú
people,
probablemente, y
maybe you,
definitivamente, Yo
me,
dijimos, yo estoy comprometido.
because we said, I'm invested. those stories that we heard, in more than 1.5 million pesos that we have delivered to different organizations, one time of years with our generosity campaign, supporting different people, different places that have needs in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Mexico, in Guinea-Bissau, in Africa, and different people, to be supporting pastors that are in different places, in different churches, so that they can have a church that you can be accessible, maybe something like Fernando, like a Jani, like Moises, that we heard their stories, that they can approach without feeling rejected, without feeling challenged. But this is a church for everybody. That is all possible because there is a group of people that say, I'm invested. Look, my friends, if you are a part of a church, maybe not our church, because maybe you just connected, maybe you're in some other place and you're connected, and we thank you for that. But I want to ask you something. Do it. Get invested in your church. Do it in your church. Look, our friends in Chile, please do it. Invest in everything with your church, in Vertical, all that are part of our family in Vidaín, here in Saltillo, in Monterrey, in Mexico City, wherever you are. Look, maybe you tell me, Roberto, yes, but I'm in this time that we are living, I got fired, and I cannot explain to you my financial situation. Look, I understand. It's okay. I understand that you want to do it, but in this moment, it's a difficult situation. I do understand. But there are a lot of people that are not in those conditions. So please, I want to challenge you and I want to ask you, let's take steps towards this direction. I'm not ashamed to tell you. I want to tell you why. Because in that way, we will hear more stories like we just did. There will be more and more people that they'll know that there's a heavenly Father that loves them. He won't categorize them. He will love them and forgive them. Look, friends, all of these stories and a lot more are possible when you and I say, I'm invested. I'm in.
Nuestros corazones insaciables son hasta que conoce a su Salvador. Tal y como somos nos amó, hoy nos acercamos sin temor. Él es el agua que al beber nunca más tendremos sed. Jesucristo basta, Jesucristo basta. Mi castigo recibió y su herencia me entregó. Jesucristo basta, Jesucristo basta. Fuimos alcanzados por su gran amor, con brazos abiertos nos recibe hoy. Tal y como somos nos amó, hoy nos acercamos sin temor. Él es el agua que al beber nunca más tendremos sed. esperanza que en su amor confiamos, hay descanso en él.
Cristo es mi pasión, Él es mi recompensa. No hay nadie como Él, nada satisface más. Pruebas vendrán, mas cantaré, no vuelvo atrás, soy libre en Él. Jesús, mi todo es, Jesús, mi todo es. Eres más que suficiente, todo para mí. Cristo es mi porción, el gozo de mi alma. Mi esperanza está en Él, el cielo es nuestro hogar. Oh, vientos vendrán, mas cantaré, conmigo estás, a ti sea la gloria. Jesús, mi todo es, Jesús, mi todo es. Eres más que suficiente, todo para mí. Oh, oh. He decidido seguir a Cristo, no vuelvo atrás. No vuelvo atrás, he decidido seguir a Cristo. No vuelvo atrás, no vuelvo atrás. Mis ojos puestos en Jesucristo. No vuelvo atrás, no vuelvo atrás. Mis ojos puestos en Jesucristo, no vuelvo atrás, no vuelvo atrás, no. Jesús, mi todo. no vuelvo atrás, no vuelvo atrás.
Realmente creemos que no
Well,
hay nada mejor
we
que seguir a
really
Jesús, no hay
believe
nada
that
mejor
there's
que hacer nuestra
nothing
vida con
better
Dios.
than
Y
follow
nuestro deseo es que
Jesus
tú
and
puedas
having our
conectarte
life
con ese
with
Dios que
God.
te ama, ese
And
Dios
our
que te
desire is
creó,
that you can
que tú
connect
puedas
with that
conectarte
God
con
that
Jesús.
created
Mira,
you,
quizá
that
tú
loves
tienes
you, that
dudas
you can
acerca
connect with Jesus.
de
And look,
cómo se
maybe you
hace
have
esto,
doubts
o
of
quizás tú
how to
quieres
do
dar un
this,
paso más,
or
tú
maybe you
quieres
want to take a
conectarte.
step
Y hoy queremos
forward, you want to
proveerte una
connect.
herramienta para
And
que tú
so we want
puedas
to give you a
hacerlo.
tool so
Aquí
that you
abajo va a
can do that.
aparecer un link
There's
en
a
la
link
pantalla,
that
un
that's
link
coming
tree,
up in
en donde tú puedes entrar
on
y
the
puedes
screen
darle clic
where
al
you
primer
can
botón.
go
Te va a
in,
llevar a
you
una
can
llamada de Zoom
and
en la que
you
tú te
can
puedes conectar
click the
ahorita
first
terminando
button,
esta
and
transmisión.
when
Van
we
a haber
when we
algunas
end this
personas que quieren
transmission, there's
platicar
a
contigo,
Zoom
quieren
call,
resolver tus
and
dudas
maybe
y
there's people
simplemente
there where
platicarte
you
acerca
who
de
you can
cómo se
talk
ve
to
una vida con
and
Jesús.
answer your
Así
questions.
es,
And
y la
just
próxima
and
semana
next
es un
week
muy buen
there's
domingo
a
porque
great
vamos a estar
Sunday
iniciando una nueva
because we
serie
are
en la que
going
vamos a
to start
resolver
in
la
a series
pregunta
in
¿qué
which we
se
are going to
siente estar
solve
al
the
otro lado de
question,
mí? Así que si
what
quieres
does it
saber más,
feel like to be
conéctate
on
la
the other
próxima semana,
side
invita
of
a
me?
alguien y
So if you
de
want to
verdad
know
te
more,
enviamos un
invite
abrazo de
somebody.
parte de todo el
We send
equipo.
you a
Tengas una
hug from Vida in
excelente
Team
semana.
and have a great week.